Hello, sir.
Hi,
How are you?
all good, thanks. Thank you very much. How are you
Thank you
doing?
so
All
much for,
well?
yeah,
Thanks for having me on
very
the
well.
show. Thank you.
Yeah.
Thank you.
So, welcome to everybody. We have with us today a former cricketer who has played for India A and for Tamil Nadu and for CSK, and is currently the assistant coach and the strength and conditioning coach for Tamil Nadu under 23. A very, very warm welcome to you, sir.
Thank you. Thank you very much.
So I'd like to start off this podcast with the question that we ask all our guests. What is your earliest memory of cricket and how did you become interested in it?
Basically, I think since my childhood, I've always played many sports. So cricket is one of my passion. So from the age of 5, 6, I've been playing many sports. But at the age of 15, 16, I took up cricket as a profession. I decided that I want to become a cricketer, and that's where my career started. So till then, I was playing many sports. So outfield, outdoor sports are something which I really enjoyed more than studying. So that's how it is.
That's cool. So can you take us through your journey from club cricket to playing for India A? What was that journey like?
It was definitely not an easy road, easy path to make it to that level. But I think it took a lot of time, a lot of self-realization to know what you really want and how do you actually want to start. So it's very important that you play school cricket and then your college cricket. Those are the base. I think unless otherwise you do well in your school and college cricket, nobody is going to recognize you. So it's going to be a combination of you need to have a good school team. You need to study in a school where they encourage sports. I was fortunate. I was part of a school which really encouraged sports. I was given admission for sports in a sports quota in a school. Then college, so did my master's. So everything went well from there on. So that's how you really get a chance to make a mark at the state level.
Right. So did you study in Loyola? Did you play for Loyola as well?
No, I didn't play for Loyola, but I did my masters in Loyola. So I did my schooling in Santham, 11th and 12th, and my bachelor's in Vivekananda College. So those were my critical period, I would say, in my life, which actually gave a base to play and take up cricket as a profession.
Okay. So I think you would have played for Vivekananda then.
Yeah.
Right. So in your undergrad, you studied at Vivekananda and you played for Vivekananda, and in your masters, you went to this college that Vivekananda has this great cricket rivalry within the Chennai college circle.
That's right. But
how was that like?
But I was. No. See, once you finish your bachelor's, you always want to do something so that you can fall back on something. That's one of the reasons I did my master's in financial management. But fortunately, I never had to fall back on my master's. I had to. I had been very happy with playing the sport cricket.
Right. Your school and college level cricket, they kind of were the base for you to go on into your professional cricketing career. Is that what you feel?
Definitely. I think unless otherwise you're going to play school cricket, good school cricket, which really encourages sports, because a lot of schools have a lot of many sports, but there are very few schools who actually encourage and give you admission in a sports quota to do and play for the school. So it's very important. Kids have to get into that kind of school where they encourage sports, and same goes as well to your college. So I was fortunate, and we had a very good team, both school as well as college. So you have to really push your case to actually get a chance in the level.
Right. So my next question would be, can you take us through what was your experience like with the IPL and what's the dressing room like in CSK?
Okay. So you can see when I got picked for the IPL team, it was like something I was in a different world because the kind of cricket what you have played from school cricket, college cricket, of your state, you could see a difference, 10%, 20%, 30% jump. So the adaptation and your understanding and your expectation, it will actually meet your demands. But suddenly getting into the IPL forum and it's going to be a totally a different world. You can't even believe that you are in that kind of a world, and you will be sharing the dressing room with Muttiah Molidhar and Matthew Wade and 𝐿𝐼𝐶. So it was very fantastic. I would say it was a great feeling, which actually overwhelmed. I was overwhelmed to be part of the IPL team. So it was a great experience, I would say.
Right. And for someone who's played cricket so much in Chennai and growing up in Chennai, to wear that yellow jersey and to hear so many people, cheering for Chennai, that must have been something.
Definitely. I think it's a dream for any cricketer to play for a CSK and that too for your own franchisee and from your own state. Obviously, you have to be lucky to be part of the team.
Right. So, from being a cricketer, when and how did you decide to take up coaching?
Coaching, I think I decided a couple of years back that I want to get into coaching. Since then, I was playing the sport. So I decided, okay, I can get into coaching, I can make a difference. That's where it all started. Maybe I would say 3 years back, I started my coaching career.
Okay. And why the focus on strength and conditioning?
Why? It's a good question, I would say. I think strength and training is always a part and parcel of my life. I would always give credit to training because without proper training, I don't think I'd have played the sport for a long time. So training has been one of the primary focus which I've always focused on for a long period, which actually made a lot of difference in my cricketing career, mentally as well as physically. So I thought being a coach and a trainer will actually make a difference in one's career because the point of contact is going to be one. So you exactly know what your training methods are, and you know how to address the bowling loads as well as the technicalities which demands bowling as well. So I thought it's a dual combination. There is a lot of work, to be honest, but it's quite interesting because as I earlier said, the point of contact is going to be one. So you don't have two people doing the job. So the coordination between them has to be very, very precise. And since I've played some sport, so it's easier for me to actually be with somebody to understand the nuances, what each and every individual will go through on a day-to-day basis. So that's something which is very, very critical, and it's a very, very specialized type of coaching, I would say. And I've been enjoying that. I've been training a lot of fast bowlers, a lot of batsmen, spinners, obviously cricket and other sport as well. Especially in cricket, I think I was able to make a difference.
Okay, that's nice. So let's talk a little bit about the strength and conditioning coaching. So people in India, have especially become very aware and keyed into fitness and functional training and strength and conditional training and all of that very recently, and quite a rapidly growing industry, I must say, in India. So, and you are one of the first Indians to get a level 2 certification from the Australian Strength and Conditioning Association. So how important do you think is this certification?
I think certification is very important. Your education is going to be very important. It's a combination of science and art. So it's very important that you need to have a base for strength and conditioning. It's just not your experience, but with your experience, with your education, can actually make a huge difference.
Right, and so like, what is being done about the quality of strength and conditioning coaching that is available to athletes of all levels in India? And is there something like the ASCA in the Indian context? Is there an Indian equivalent?
Indian equivalent, I don't think so. What will I know about it? Because the research is more or less happening in other countries like Australia, England, and the US. So not really, but there are courses in India as well. Yeah.
Okay. So, so in the absence of such a certification that is available easily in India itself, how do we, ensure that the quality of coaching, strength and conditioning training that is being given to athletes in India is evidence based and is not really. A lot of people can they kind of sometimes they just do like a diploma in physical therapy and they apply techniques and say, yeah, I'm now a strength and conditioning coach. So how do we actually, in the absence of a certification, a national level certification in India, how do we ensure that the quality of the training that is being given, especially to athletes, young athletes, and because athletes at higher levels already are being taken care of, I feel so.
See, there are certifications. I would not say there are no certifications in India, but unless there are certain certifications from Australia or UK. They have been given a lot of importance. If you really want to make a mark, I think those are the certifications which you had to do. So it's not that you do Indian certifications, it's not recognized. But whatever come what may, I think at the end of the day, you need to have the understanding of the subject, and moreover, you need to understand the psychology of the cricketer, of any sportsman. What is required for that certain individual? What difference can you make? Because trust is something which is very important from athlete's point. Unless the athlete is going to have trust, it's not going to work. Even you can be one of the greatest strength and conditioning coaches in the world. It's very important that you should be able to apply what you have studied or whatever you have gone through in your life, so that that works for that athlete. It can be it can be right for some, wrong for some. So it's about what difference and what is that you can do for the athlete. That is something. The care is going to be very critical whenever you're going to train any athlete for that matter.
Right. So have you ever come across cases where where athlete has been training in the wrong way, has gotten injured, and has come to you and you had to build again and get them back?
There were cases, yes, there were cases. There were a few side strains, back injuries, some shoulder surgeries, ankle surgeries. Yes, I have worked with, especially with athletes. So it's quite a challenge for me to work with them, and it also gives me a different perspective to think for them from their shoes. So I've been on a physio table many a times. I've been to doctors many a time in my cricketing career. So that really helped me. Having a conversation with the physios and the doctors had given me some basic knowledge and understanding of the sport and of the body. So with that, with your education, with your experience, and with a lot of other factors which are going on, that really helped me to actually work on the specific cases which you're actually mentioning. It really helped me, and they've all gone back to playing proper cricket.
Okay. And how difficult is to get a player to unlearn their wrong practices and then learn something that is the right way to do things?
Sorry, come again. It got stuck, I think, because of the net.
Okay. I was asking, how difficult is for an athlete to unlearn their wrong practices before learning what is the right way of doing something?
It is quite difficult, obviously, but being a coach, I think that's what your job is. Tell them the right practices, what they are supposed to learn, how they are learning. So basically, you need to set a pace, or at least for a month, to show them what exactly they need to do, how they need to do. You need to impart a lot of knowledge for each and every athlete, because giving knowledge to them is going to make a lot of difference. Because end of the day, you will not be traveling wherever they are going. End of the day, they are going to play the sport, and they are going to be alone wherever they are. So unless otherwise you are going to teach them the right practices, you have to give them the knowledge, the required knowledge. Don't give them too much knowledge also, because they'll start overthinking. I also have cases like that. So you give the right knowledge, what is required, so that they will start thinking, okay, what is that I need to do, so that whatever I've done in the past, I should not repeat it in the future. So that's how it is.
Right. And so I have another question, like what's the level of awareness among athletes who are just starting out in their professional careers about the need for functional training, strength and conditioning, and how do you counsel them?
See, counseling, unless otherwise people are going to come to you and ask for help, you will not know what is that you actually can do, or what is that they want. Unless they are going to come to you and ask for something, ask for help, it's going to be real hard. But there is definitely awareness in terms of strength and conditioning or training or anything for that matter. But I would say the proper channel, the way you train, there are certain things which you have to follow. Many are following, many are not following. So it's very important that you need to focus on their loading parameter, which is very important, whether it's bowling or your training. Because if you're going to be tired and you're going to have a very hard session, obviously the athlete is not going to recover. So it's very important. The recovery is going to be key. The nutrition is going to be key. The psychological aspect of each and every athlete is going to be key. Your training, your weight training, everything comes into play. Your bowling loads. So everything has to be monitored, and accordingly you design a program and train them. So that takes some time for them to understand, because it's going to be some long process. So once the understanding seeks in, I think it's very easy for the athlete to actually go and perform and start believing what they can offer.
Right. And in terms of, having a strength and conditioning coach, I think it's a fairly recent phenomenon as far as sports are concerned in India. So what is the dynamic like with the skills coaches and especially with the head coach?
See, head coach is somebody who takes responsibility of the team. And you have specific coaches working on specific aspects, like a spin coach works on a spin bowler, batting coach works on a batsman, fast bowling coach works on fast bowlers. Head coach is going to oversee all these people and how he can perform under pressures. So basically, he'll be like a head. So he'll be having control over the team for whatever the win or losses. So end of the day, the pressure is high on the head coach. So it has to be a combination of everyone gelling together, coming together. So I would say head coach is also one among the coach. So it's just that the people have given a role as a head coach, but it's a combination of everyone, even the support staff, physios, trainers, everybody has a role to play so that they can produce an athlete. So nobody actually, to be honest, nobody is bigger or nobody is smaller. They're all on the same page. They all have to work together to produce an athlete.
Right. So has there ever been like instances where the head coach like encroaching onto the strength and conditioning territory, and how do you deal with a situation like that?
No, honestly speaking, I haven't come across whatever little experience I don't think anybody has come across that. But generally, people do not intervene in your work.
Right.
But if somebody has a suggestion, they'll always give you a suggestion. But nobody will protrude in whatever you're doing. So that's how professionalism is all about. So I haven't come across anybody who's poking in my job. But so yeah.
But have you ever come across any doctors who like to give you their opinion in a very strong way as to how you should go about your job? Because we doctors, we love doing that. Anything to do with the body, we feel we are experts.
Doctors don't come into play at all. If it has to be only the coach. Maybe the trainer and the physio will go hand in hand, because if anybody has a niggle or anybody is carrying an injury, the trainer and the physio has to go hand in hand to consult, to come to a conclusion, what kind of training methods I can follow now, what loads I can start now. So maybe the physio and the trainer has to go hand in hand so that you understand better in terms of what the physio is trying to say. But I don't think it's a problem. But maybe there might be people who are facing this. Maybe you can ask this question to them.
No, because I asked you this question because I think there was this rugby team that was, it was kind of not a very high level rugby team, but one of the rugby teams who there was a sports medicine consultant who had very strong ideas on how to go about it. And he kind of was like drilling into the physio, as to how he should go about his job, and the exchange that happened was the most interesting thing I've ever heard, in my life.
See, honestly, the drilling doesn't happen here, but maybe the belief system has to change, I would say, because even now people have we shouldn't do much of weight training, we shouldn't train too much, we shouldn't do this. Maybe the belief system can change, and once the responsibility has been given to somebody, I think you need to trust them 100% and give them the responsibility. If they don't deliver, ask them questions. That's what I would recommend wherever you go as a coach or a trainer. Maybe the belief system can change, but nobody drills into you, honestly. But maybe certain belief system, because there are a lot of things which keeps updating. Being a doctor, you must be knowing. So every day there are some new thing coming up. Every month there is a new thing which comes in. So you have to keep updating yourself. So the updation is something which is very important for the SNC, who has to have sync with the coaches and the physios. So maybe the coaches are willing to listen to you, the head coach, or maybe the physio, if they are willing to listen, if they trust you, then your work becomes much easier. So maybe that can change a bit, I would say.
Okay. So can you tell us in really layman terms, what is the difference between training someone for cricket whereas training someone for, say, run?
So training someone for cricket and training someone for rugby.
For some other sport. Let's just
No,
say
obviously,
for athletics.
the functionalities and the movement patterns are very different compared to each and every sport. Cricket has a certain movements, rugby has a certain movement, soccer has a certain movement, and you need to know what kind of training methods and methodologies that you need to follow for each and every sport. You need to know the biomechanics of the sport, and you need to know what kind of injuries one can actually go through while playing certain sport. If you are an athlete, you might have a lot of hamstring tear. If you are a cricketer, maybe you might have stress fractures and shin splints, which are very common. Rugby knee injuries, basketball jumpers knee. So there are a lot of sport has different injury patterns. So maybe you need to keep an eye of these patterns and their loading patterns, their movement patterns, to train them accordingly. So which is very important. What kind of loads they can take. For some can take 100 kilos, some can take 50 kilos, some can take 20 minutes of training, some can take 40 minutes of training. Depending upon the loads that each and every athlete can go through, that is one. And also, what is the requirement of that sport? For example, fast bowler requires a different demands, okay, where nobody else in cricket needs that. A keeper needs a different demands. A spinner needs a different demand. A batsman needs a different demand. So you need to train accordingly, so that, and you also get a feedback. So whether, because you can't be thinking that you're doing and training them right. So it's very important that you need to get a feedback from each and every athlete on a day-to-day basis to actually understand whether your training methodologies are actually helping them or not. So you can change in case you do anything right. Yes, carry on. In case you don't, then you have to change and help the athlete.
Right. So you are one of the first Indians to actually have a case study published in your name. on that too on a subject like keeping a fast bowler injury free throughout a domestic season. So I mean, it's kind of understood that if you have a case study published, it's something that is a very rare occurrence, and that's why they're publishing it as a case study. So first of all, congratulations on publishing the case study, and secondly, congratulations on achieving something that is so rare that it
Thank you.
that it is worthy of publication. Can you briefly explain how you manage this impossible task?
I don't know. I never thought of, I don't know whether it's impossible, but I really enjoyed while I was doing the case study. I had to do an article and I had to submit. So I was just thinking for some time, what is that I want to do? What is the article? What kind of article I want to write? So I decided, being a fast bowler, being SNC, I thought I can write a case study observing a fast bowler, what one will go through. So it's a combination of experience, education, research. So it really very interesting, but it was a very intense process, I would say, which I had to go through for 10 months. So I was fortunate. I never knew that I was the first Indian coach who produced the case study, but I'm really happy when they just mentioned it. Pretty happy about it. I want to produce more articles of such sort.
Nice. So, like, apart from being a strength and conditioning coach, you're also the assistant coach for Tamil Nadu 22, especially looking after fast bowling. So, how do you see these two roles converge?
See, so it's as I said earlier, it's a combination of what is your role. So being a fast bowling coach and a SNC, you'll be managing the team in terms of SNC, and you'll be monitoring your training as well as the bowling loads of fast bowlers. It's quite an interesting job, I would say. I don't see any kind of difficulty or problem as long as you enjoy what you're doing. So definitely there can be cricketers who can be produced at the next level, provided you have support and people are willing to understand what you're trying to say.
Right. So, and because you're playing this dual role as both the fast bowling coach and the SNC coach, how do you think it impacts the players under your care? How is it better for them to have someone who is taking care of both roles at the same time, or how do you see the impact?
See, as I said earlier, I think the trust from the athlete, it's very important. If the athlete is coming, if a fast bowler is coming to you, he has to believe that he can really make a difference in his bowling as well as in his training. So once the athlete has a trust, then everything is going to be easy. So it all starts from what you can deliver, you can offer, you can talk to them, you can tell them the importance of what a fast bowling coach and SNC can actually make a difference. Once they buy you, then they start training with you. Once the trust comes in, I think everything is going to be easy for you. I don't think it should be a problem. Definitely, you can make a huge impact. There are no doubts about it, no two ways about it. I personally think I don't have any doubts. I'm pretty confident.
Okay. And do you actually feel that it's better for the strength and conditioning coach to, have some level of working understanding of the sport? Do you think that places you in a...
Definitely. Just being a strength and conditioning coach is not going to get you anywhere. It's about understanding the sport, understanding the nuances of the sport. Anybody can give you any exercises, but giving those exercises, how can actually it can impact an athlete, and what time the exercise has to be given, what kind of exercises, what patterns you're going to follow, when are you going to give, what is the time duration, what exercises you're going to select during the course of the time. So when you have to do such exercises, and what is the load, how many sets, reps, so everything comes into play. Unless you understand the sport, unless you know what it is, it's going to be real hard for any SNC to actually getting into some sport.
Right. Okay. So I kind of want to ask you, this would be like one of my last questions on this topic. In fact, yeah. So what is your next cricket dream?
My cricket dream?
Yes.
I have many dreams, honestly speaking. I want to be a fast bowling coach and a strength and conditioning coach, or whatever level I can offer, wherever, whichever level I could go. I think sky is the limit. So I want to be a fast bowling coach and SNC. So
Okay.
to make a difference in training as well as in a fast bowler's career.
Okay. And what do you enjoy more? Is it the fast bowling, the skills coaching, or is it the SNC coaching?
Both, I would say both. Otherwise, I would haven't become a fast bowling coach in SNC. It has both as equally important. I can't say. Obviously, when I bowl, I like fast bowling, obviously, but the base behind bowling fast bowling is my strength. So strength has been my passion. That is something which I've always worked on throughout my life. That has actually made a difference. So they go hand in hand. So if I never had the strength, I would have never gone onto the field and bowled or played for such a long time. So it's something they go hand in hand, I would say. So I can't be partial to one.
No, but if you actually had to pick one, what would you pick?
It's going to be a tough decision for me, but as of now, I don't know.
Okay. And as an all-rounder, what is more satisfying for you? Is it watching your ball crashing into middle stump, or is it hitting the bowler behind their head?
I would say I think whether you picking wickets or getting it's the best happiness you get when you can win a match for your side. So that's the best happiness. If you're an all-rounder, you have two departments where you can actually deliver. Not many will have that quality. If you have that quality, you're fortunate. So you should be able to win matches for your side, whatever level you play. So that gives me immense happiness. Obviously, picking bold or a six gives me the same happiness. But I would rate, I think, winning matches for your side gives me immense happiness, because the whole team is going to be happy. Everyone is going to be happy. The whole energy system changes. So you can see everyone happy. Nobody will be sad. So that gives me more happiness than me picking a wicket or getting a six, hitting a six.
Okay. And to prevent injury, what is the single most important thing for a fast bowler?
I think proper training. Your nutrition is going to be key. You can't eat crappy food. That's very, very important, because it all starts from your nutrition. Your sleep cycle is going to be very important. Your training methods, as I earlier said, it's going to be very important. Your loading parameters, whether it's training or your bowling, the loading has to be monitored on a day-to-day basis. I think it's a combination of all put together, and moreover, I think the understanding of by the athlete of what you are trying to, that is going to be again very important. So it's a combination of all put together. You can't keep bowling every day, and you can't keep training every day. It's a combination of both. So obviously it again depends on the athlete, what loads he can take and what he can't. So accordingly you have to work.
Okay. So to end this part with something light, do you still play gully?
No, I don't. I don't play Rajesh.
Okay. But
Please, if you can get me a chance, please let me know. I'm ready to play. If you can influence.
Ask Ajit, sir. He plays gully cricket all the time. He lost to me also. You ask him.
Oh, maybe. Okay.
You ask him how he lost to me.
Oh, really? We'll do that.
Yeah. What, sir? You watch him. He lost to me.
Oh, really? Okay.
You should really take him to task and be like, how you can
We'll do
deliver.
that. We'll do that someday.
And at the time when you used to play gully cricket, what was the most funniest rule that you have ever come across?
Funniest?
Funniest rule in gully cricket that you've ever come across?
Funniest rule, I think they'll say 1 bounce catch, 2 bounce catch. So when there is no space, you can't hit full toss. So they'll say 1 bounce, 2 bounce. If you get beaten once, you will be given a second chance. You get beaten for the second time. you'll be out. So full toss, you can't hit left side. You have to hit towards the right. You can't hit it towards the left side. So there are a lot of I think rules, which was fun that time, but now we don't play much of gully cricket.
Right. Okay, we'll just take some questions from the audience.
Yeah,
Let's see.
sure.
Okay. I think, how do I read this name? 𝐏𝐸𝐬𝐲. I think he's your friend. He's asking you when you're going to get married. He's waiting.
Soon. Good question.
Right. Just a couple of questions here. Okay, is leg spin more demanding or off spin?
Demanding in terms of what do they really mean? Demand in terms of skill, fitness. If it's going to be skill, then I would say leg spin has it's more demanding than off spin.
Okay. Okay. It seems in terms of fitness.
In terms of fitness, what does that mean?
Is leg spin more demanding or is it off spin in terms of fitness?
Fitness, both are going to be the same, not much difference. But in skill level, leg spin is going to be more challenging because you need a lot of practice.
Right. And there's a question like, why do you feel Tamil Nadu is struggling in red ball cricket at the moment?
Red ball, very good question. I think it's a controversial question. So I will not be able to answer exactly what it is. But I think the wickets can be slightly better. The whatever the first division that we are playing here, the wickets can be slightly better so that we can produce quality bowlers because the demands batting it's much easier than bowling, and the conditions are obviously hot and humid. You don't have much sea movement, whether it's in the air or on the wicket. So I think we can produce some sporting wickets, so which can actually make the red ball cricket better.
Okay. I have another question from Sujit. I think there's a lot of people who are asking you to analyze their action and things like that. Okay, I got a question on WhatsApp from they ask how different is it between training a male athlete and training a female athlete for the same sport?
It's definitely not difficult, but obviously the demands are much lesser for a female athlete. So you need to train them accordingly.
Okay. Another question. Okay, there are comments about politics in cricket. Asking from your perspective, why is there so much politics in cricket?
It's not in cricket, it's everywhere. It's not just in cricket, it's in every sport. All over the world, any job you take, you have politics. But cricket has been seen more because it's everywhere in media, it's on paper. So you get to see what you actually can. So other departments don't have. Obviously, you must be having a lot of politics in your medicine field. So as any other field. So you can't be just taking on cricket or any sport. So any sport has people go through the same politics or whatever it is. So that's how it is.
Okay. And what is your opinion about Bumrah's action?
It's a very unique action nobody can mimic, nobody can train their action. So you can't tell some bowler, okay, this is how you are supposed to bowl. Somebody has that action, you need to just know what you can do as an SNC to help the bowler to sustain for longer periods. Maybe extend his career by having the same action, because that is a very unique action, and also very difficult for the batters to pick that action. That's one of the reasons he's been very successful at the international level.
Right. And what are your tips for aspiring fast bowlers?
Please seek a good guide, I would say, or a mentor who can help you out with training and coaching. So you need to understand what you really want, because fast bowling is a very special and rare art. So unless otherwise you are mentally ready, physically fit to take up the job, you should never take up the job, because it's going to demand a lot. So if you're very sure, if you have a lot of passion towards fast bowling, if you have interest towards fast bowling, then yes, with the help of trainers and coaches, definitely you can take up fast bowling as a profession.
Okay. I think there's this follow-up question about the difference between training a female athlete and a male athlete for the same sport. They're asking, can you explain how the demands on a female athlete are lower than on a male athlete, considering it's the same sport?
Because I think the ball weight is lesser compared to the weight what we use with the male cricket. And women have certain restrictions. They can, only to a certain extent they can. The demands obviously are going to be lesser compared to a male athlete. So you need to just work on the demands and what their capabilities are. So demands are definitely lesser.
Okay. I think that brings us to another question. Somebody is asking, what is your best memory? This will be the last question we take. What is your best memory?
Best memory in cricket, or as a coach, as an SNC?
I think they've not specified. Let's say in all these three things.
Okay, if it's going to be fast bowling, I think my best memory, picking a 5-4 against Himachal Pradesh at Himachal. We won that match outright. That was one. And batting, me getting 100 from 50 for 5 against Bombay. That's my first 100. These are the two memories which are very fresh in me.
Okay. And as a coach?
As a coach, I think when any athlete trusts you, the amount of happiness you get, and you really want to work towards the athlete for his betterment, for his success, that is something which I really enjoyed. That is what I keep looking in athletes. So I think it's an ongoing process. It doesn't stick on with one athlete, but whenever that moment happens, so that's one of the greatest moments, I would say.
Okay. I think that brings us to the end of this month's podcast. Thank you so much, sir, for taking time out from your schedule and having a chat with us. It was such a pleasure hosting you.
Thank you. Thanks for having me on your show. Thank you.
Thank you so much. And thanks to everybody who joined as well. And hope to see you all next month.